welcome to my channel. My name is Adora, and if you are just coming across this channel for the first time, thank you very much for stopping by. Now I expect that before you get to the end of this video, you will have a reason to press the red subscribe button. Now I get questions like this from people, like why are there so many single women in the UK? Why are there so many baby mamas in the UK? Why are there so many single parents in the UK? And all of that. And I usually get this question from people, both those are based here and those are based back home. And honestly, I never really understood why it was this rampant until I actually came in. Before I came to the UK, I used to hear that there's no love in UK, like there is no real love. But I didn't get it. I didn't understand what they meant by that, So I remember asking the person that told me back then, like, what do you mean by that? And she was like, you won't really understand unless you live there, like unless you're in the system, you won't really understand where I'm coming from. But yeah, fast forward to many years later, I now understood where she was coming from when she meant by there's no real love in the UK. Okay, so many years back, I was at the train station somewhere in London, and I met this man. I used to call him uncle because he's far older than me, so I used to see him there at the train station several times when I use the train station. I'm traveling, and the first time I saw him there, what actually drew me to him was that he was speaking my language. So and he was standing very close to me, so there was something he said while he was on the phone, and I giggled. I laughed a bit, because I heard what he said. He was talking to someone on the phone. I heard what he said, so I kind of laughed. Then he looked at me and he said in my language, do you understand what I said? I said yes. And so that was how we started talking. And he's an elderly man. We started talking, and then each time I come to the train station, I kind of look around to see if I'll see him. And immediately he sees me from afar, he will run and he will come and he will be like, my sister, my daughter, things like that. So yeah, I usually see him there at the train station. So one day I was traveling. I was traveling from London to a different city, and while my train was delayed, we were talking. And then this man said, why are there so many single mothers? Women don't like to get married. There is a lot of single mothers in the UK. Everywhere you go, single mother, single mother. If you go to the train station, single mother. If you go to the churches, single mother. If you go to post office, single mother. If you're walking on the road, they are pushing buggies, single mother everywhere. Why? And I was like, well, uncle, I don't have an answer to your question, because I have come to understand, or rather I have come to the conclusion that you do not judge people anymore. I don't judge people anymore based on their circumstances, the situations, or whatever, what have you, because you don't know what everyone is passing through. You can't really tell what people are experiencing in their day-to-day life. So I let everyone be the way they are. So when he asked that question, I was like, well, I really can't tell you why that is happening. But fast forward to many years later, now I have come to understand why we have this thing getting really rampant, getting very, very common at the moment. Not at the moment anyway, it has always been happening, but it's just that people are really beginning to talk about it. People are beginning to ask these questions. Is there really love in the UK? Like, does real love exist in the UK? Why are there so many single women? Especially now, I'm going to be basing this discussion down to the women, because it's the women everybody seems to be looking at. I don't know, it's just women everybody seems to be more concerned about when it comes to this singlehood thing. Everybody expects that at a certain age you should be married, at a certain age as a woman you should have entered a man's house and all that. So that brings me to some points too that I have discovered, some points I have heard people discuss, some points that I have also I've seen through so far in my journey throughout my stay here in the UK so far. Now, the first one is the system, the British system, the Western system. I'm not very sure if it's only the UK, it's only Britain that has this thing I'm about to say, and maybe it could be all the Western world, I don't know, but the system has in one way or the other contributed to what we are seeing now. So why did I say the system? Now, the system has contributed in a way. And in this way, I mean that the system has actually made women to understand their rights as human beings. First of all, it has actually made women to understand their rights as women. It has made women to understand that they have a right and they have a freedom to certain aspects of life. That they have a freedom of speech, they have a freedom of expression, they have a freedom of religion, they have a freedom of association, they have a freedom of everything. The system has actually opened the eyes of women to see this. Now imagine a woman that you married back home in Africa, or let me use Nigeria now because that's where I come from, and so I think I should be a bit more conversant with what's happening there. Imagine a woman you marry in Nigeria, and then this woman, she's used to the African, the cultural way of doing things. She is used to the idea of keeping the home. She's used to the idea of managing the home, taking care of the home, doing the cooking, the cleaning, the children, anything that has to do with the home front. She is just there while the man is while the man thinks his only position or his only role in the family is just to provide the money. So some men actually think they do not give a damn about what happens indoors. All they know is just to go out there, make the money, bring the money, and the woman should do every single thing that concerns the home. Now, also the culture all down there also makes us to believe that even when a woman's right is being trodden upon, the woman has no say. The woman should always be mute at some point. She has no say. Some people even actually believe that no matter the education a woman has, she ends up in the kitchen. She ends up cooking. She ends up taking care of the home front. Some people actually believe it's even a waste of time to send female children to school because they think she will still end up cooking and cleaning the house, that she's actually of no good, of no use. So marrying such a woman back there and giving her the impression that she's good for nothing, that all that she is good for is the kitchen and looking after kids, and she's not even good to develop herself, and even developing herself is a waste of time. Imagine such a woman coming down to a place like this, and she begins to see a different perspective of life. She begins to see that women are not only meant for the kitchen, that she begins to see that women are not only meant to look after the children. She begins to see that there's a lot more a woman has to offer to the society, other than just staying indoors and looking so depressed and feeling so out of place in the society. She begins to see these things. She begins to see that there are women that are actually moving things. She begins to see that there are actually women that are movers and shakers. She begins to see that a woman should have a voice. She begins to see that the woman has rights, that the woman has freedom of this, freedom of that, freedom of this. And then she also begins to see that there are certain things she must have been going through back home, which she never knew was termed as abuse. And she comes down to a place like this and she says, oh my God, so you mean that thing I was actually experiencing back then was abuse? So you mean that was actually financial abuse? So you mean that was actually mental abuse? So you mean that was, she begins to understand the definition of several things she has passed through when she was back home. She begins to wake up. She begins to realize so many things that she felt she was kind of missing out in when she was back home. So that's why I said the system contributed, because the system will open your eyes to know where you stand. The system will open your eyes to know that you are you should be a partner to your man. You should be there with him and not behind him, but beside him, doing things together. You should be beside him, supporting each other, and not necessarily working as a slave. Because to be honest with you, I've heard people from other countries when we're discussing and they're talking about African culture, African marriage and all that. And sometimes the kind of things they say about the African culture in terms of marriage is, sometimes I feel very ashamed when we're discussing such things, but that's what it is. These are people from other cultures, other traditions that have their own opinions. Like I said freedom of speech still comes in here, so I cannot stop them from saying what they have to say, especially when they have been there. Like someone I met one day told me that she has been to Nigeria, and then she actually went to Nigeria because she wanted to marry a Nigerian. But after she went to Nigeria, she came back, she cancelled the engagement. And I said, why? She said no, that the kind of thing she saw there does not align with her mode of reasoning or her belief or her kind of lifestyle. So it's better for her to break the relationship on time than break it after they have gotten married. And when I dipped digger, because I wanted to know exactly what really led to you casting the whole relationship thing, she said, well, that there were a lot of things that made a woman to feel so underneath a man back then. There were a lot of things that they were not even hiding it from her. There were certain things they were telling her to her face, like the man's family was like telling her to her face that, oh no, you know, when you marry a man from here, you're supposed in the morning you're supposed to kneel down and greet his greet the whole family. You greet the mother, your mother-in-law, you greet your father-in-law, you greet your sisters-in-laws and your uncle-in-law and all the family. And that your husband, you must make sure you in the morning you serve him breakfast, in the afternoon you serve him lunch, you must serve him at all times. You know, they were trying to groom her and prepare her towards marriage. This is what we knew back then. This is how they actually groomed and prepared a lot of our mothers back in the days. But this woman, coming from a different culture, said no, this is insane, that she cannot actually understand why she has to serve the man like she is his slave, kind of. That why can't the man do all these things? Like, why can't he just make his own breakfast? Can't he make his own lunch and all that? So yeah, when I understood where she was coming from, you know. So imagine someone who's been there back there and has been, you know, performing all these marital duties without stress and all that. Maybe even if the person is being stressed out, but she's not complaining because that's what the society expects her to. And she comes over here and then all of a sudden she sees that, wow, this is a place where, you know, you have a right to do this, you have a right to say this, you have a right not to, and she starts feeling alone. So no, I think I should be able to do certain things and he should be able to help me out in certain things. Another one is that back home, for instance, there are some women, there are some young ladies, some young girls, single, unmarried, who actually look at marriage as some sort of poverty alleviation scheme. You know, they're looking for a ready-made man who is going to take care of them and take care of their families financially. They are looking for someone who's going to kind of rescue them from the clutches of poverty, and so they get married. They do not care what they are diving into. They don't care what the repercussion of marrying that man, even if they have to be the first, the second, or the third wife or the fourth wife. They're actually not bothered, as long as they just answer the name of this man who has money and who can take care of their family. But over here, there is something in place for everybody. The system has put up a structure in place for everybody to find money, to make money, no matter how little. Now, I used to know a woman back then that told me she only works when she wants to go on holiday. And okay, how did we meet again? I was at work one day and her agency sent her over to cover a shift, and she came to, that was a night duty, and because we didn't have much to do, we talked all through the night. She told me that she doesn't really like to stress herself when it comes to work or making money, that whenever she wants to go on holiday, she goes on holiday yearly, every year with her children. So whenever she wants to go on holiday, prior to her holiday time, maybe like some weeks or some months back, she will start working. She will take up like 2 or 3 shifts a week just to raise some money for her holiday. So when she has actually raised enough money to treat herself and her kids during the holiday, that's it. She's done working for that period. Then if she comes back from her holiday, if she likes, she can work a little bit more, you know, just to make some money. So she is not really working because she wants to survive. She is just working because she wants to meet a certain demand. She wants to go on holiday. She wants to achieve a certain goal. Yeah, so this kind of person now, who can actually make money on her own, she might ask herself, so what do I need a man for when I can actually make the money? That is one of the reasons why this kind of things are actually happening, because a lot of women are already financially empowered. A lot of women actually can do some of these things that, you know, they think the men can actually offer them. Like, you know, when back then, when you see People say things like, okay, you have to get married, so the man will take care of you, the man will send you to school, the man will do this, the man will do that. Now, the society we are in right now, if you want to go to school, you can actually apply for a student finance. You can get money to go to school. So how does the man come in here now, trying to send you to school? If you want to rent a house, the highest you can do is, if you don't have money, you go and get some job to do, get some money, and you rent your house. If you want to do anything, there's always an opportunity for you to make some little cash, no matter how little. And you'll be able to solve your problem from that. But meanwhile, on the other end, for those that are not fortunate enough to have this kind of opportunity, they have to depend on the man for everything. Even when that relationship, that union is not rosy, even when that marriage is hurting them, they have no choice but to remain there, because they just have to survive. And who is their survival point? Is the man. So they have to take anything and everything as it comes, just because they want to remain in the marriage. But over here and in the Western world, it's not really like that. That's one of the things a lot of women are beginning to look and like think and like say, oh, well, why should I go through so much stress if I can do this by myself, if I can do this on my own? Another point is that a lot of women are actually not interested in hooking up with a man or being involved relationship-wise with a man, because they think it's all a scam. Now, why do I say it's all a scam? Yeah, I have actually seen ladies that say things like, you know, most times when they meet a man and maybe, for instance, they go out on a date, you can imagine your first date. Someone is already asking you, so are you a nurse? Or do you have paper? And you're like taken aback, like, why are you asking? It has become so common these days that some men, immediately they see a woman, the first thing they ask is, do you have paper or are you a nurse? And initially, I didn't understand why they were asking about this nursing thing. Why didn't they ask other questions? Like, why didn't they ask, are you a teacher or are you whatever? But there is this perception that nurses are well paid and that if you marry a nurse, she's going to take care of you financially. Or if you marry a woman that has papers, she's going to do your papers for you. A lot of women have been bashed on the floor by men who just marry them for this purpose. This is where the issue of relationship scam comes in, because some of them will just want to marry you for the sake of these two reasons I have just mentioned, and then when they get what they want, they dump you and they leave. Now, there are so many cases of people who have used each other for visa scam, for document scam, for paper scam. And this is not just about it doesn't just relate to the women alone, even the men. There are men who have helped women out in several ways. Maybe they have married them and all of a sudden the woman says, I'm no longer interested, and she decides to move out because she has gotten what she wants. And there are women too who have also experienced this. I actually know a story of a woman. She came to the UK so many years back. She struggled on her own to get her documents. In fact, at some point, she was almost deported. She was almost deported because back then she used to go to the Home Office, the immigration office, to sign. She used to sign every 2 weeks. So there was a day she went to sign at the Home Office and she was bundled and she was almost deported. But to God be the glory, after everything, she was released. And not quite long after that, she was given her leave to remain. And after that, she, as time went on, she actually got her permanent residence in the UK. Now, immediately she got her permanent residence, the first thing she did was to go to school. She went to school. She finished her degree. She got a good job. She's still working. And now, while working, she met a man, and then they got married. And immediately she had the first child. She got this man's papers for him, applied for him, the man got it, and piam, what did we see? The man went back home. Let me go. I have a project back home that I am, doing, I am involved in. The man was always giving her the impression that he had some buildings, some projects, some things back home he was doing, and he has to be going home from time to time to check on this project. And unknown to this lady, this man was actually going home to meet the girl that his family has actually arranged for him back home. His family arranged a girl from their place from their own tribe back home for him to marry. So what did this girl later find out? She later found out that the man got married to that one over there and kept that one back there in Nigeria. So while he had a wife here in the UK, he had another one in Nigeria. And funny enough, the one in Nigeria never seemed to care. She never seemed to mind, because after all, our abroad husband, yeah, as long as he's bringing in the pounds and he's taking care of me and my family, what do I want? But you know, when you are in the shoes of the woman that is here in UK, what do? At that point, you lose trust in men. At that point, you don't want to help again. At that point, you think all men are, you know, at that point, you just feel like, wow, I've just been used. So that's one of the reasons why some of these women who decide to just stay on their own. You see a lot of these women, they have already been abused emotionally, and they decide, you know what, let me just stay with my children. Let me just have my kids and take care of them and take care of my mental health. And they decide to baby mama. Some people do not just wake up one morning and say they want to be baby mamas. They want to be on their own. They want to be single. If you have a man who cherishes you, who loves you unconditionally, who takes care of you and the family, of course, why won't you want to live with the man? You would want to stick with the man through thick and thin. But people only deviate from what they are not comfortable with, especially when it is choking them. So that is why I said I do not judge anybody again, because everybody knows exactly where the shoe they are wearing is paining them. Also, like, you know, back home, some men do not believe. In fact, it is a taboo. It's a taboo when you come into some homes, not all, when you come into some homes and you see the man in the kitchen cooking. It is a taboo for the family to see their son cooking. They look like, what has this girl done to our son? What has she done to our brother? She has bewitched him. In some families, it is a taboo for the man to change the child's nappy. It's a taboo for the man to change his own child's nappy, to undress his child and give him a change of clothes, or to look after your child. It's like, no, that's the job of a woman. But over here, because of the lack of support we have, back then when you have aunties and uncles and all, everybody coming to help you around. But here you don't have all that support. So you just have to manage between yourselves. You have to be able to help each other as husband and wife. I mean, like when the wife is going to work, the husband stays with the kids, and when the husband is going to work, vice versa. But when some of these men decide to bring that behavior over here and think, no, I cannot look after the children, how can I change nappy, how can I do this one? And then this woman has to go to work. She will go to work, she will do all her shifts, she will come back very tired, then she will still have to cook, she will still have to clean the house, and then the role of the children, the whole stress of the kids is still on her shoulders. She will get stressed out. She will get burnt out. She will get so tired. And then she will look at you, the man, as useless. She will look at you useless in the sense that you are not assisting her. You are not helping her. It is stressing her out. So when you're bringing that, do you know who I am? I'm the man of the house. How can I change nappy? How can I do this one? How can I go and cook in the kitchen? How can I... And you're now like putting all the stress upon her. At a point, she will look like, what's the point having you when you can't even help me? Like, I'm not going to die out of stress because of you. And then she decides to just be on her own. Another reason, another single woman has been added to the flock of single women in town. These are all the things that are actually topping the list in terms of why people are actually deciding to be single. Now, I know of a story of a woman that said her husband likes to eat fresh food every day, morning, afternoon, evening, a different thing to eat. And she was like, you don't mean it. Like, are you kidding me? Eat fresh food every single day. Who's going to be doing that? And the man said, you now, what do you mean by that? Are you not my wife? And the woman said, it's not possible. You don't do that here. Where is the time? This is a place where everybody is working to make ends meet. One person is working, it is hard. Two people are working, it is still hard. And then even with the two people trying to struggle to make ends meet, you are expecting that the woman sits at home and cooks you fresh food every day. And the woman at a point was like, no, it can't happen. And the man felt the woman was rude and she was not respectful. She wasn't playing her role as a wife and all that. And these things started causing misunderstanding between them. And even friends to the family, some friends to the family, they called the man and said, listen, this is not Nigeria. This is UK. This is here. You have to be, if you want fresh food every day, then you do it yourself. If you want to be eating fresh food every single day, You'll be helping cooking it yourself, because you don't expect the woman to sit at home and you're cooking fresh food every day for you. Mind you, abroad here, everybody, especially if you met yourselves here, I'm not even talking about the ones that went to import a wife or husband from back home. If you met yourselves here, everybody came in here in the first place to hustle. So you should try to understand that everybody is, is a fight for survival of the fittest. Everybody's trying to make ends meet. You do not suppress one person's attempt to make ends meet just because you want to be satisfied. The same thing goes for a woman. You don't expect to sit at home doing nothing, just being a full-time housewife, while your husband works his ass off there. And then at the end of the day, you're asking for money for hair, asking for money for makeup, asking for money for body cream. You are still asking for money to send back to your family back home. You're asking for all these things. You forgot that it's only one person that is carrying the stress, the whole burden. So that is how it also goes for the man. Don't expect all these, I don't know how to explain it, this royal treatment as such here, because everybody is struggling. Everybody is struggling. People are going through a lot. So you don't expect a woman who goes to work to come back immediately. She's cooking fresh food for you to eat. Tomorrow, she's cooking fresh food for you to eat. Next tomorrow, she's cooking fresh food for... Just take it easy. Why do we have good power supply here? It is so that you can freeze your food. You cook on Monday, you freeze it, manage it for the week. Help yourself like that so that people don't die of stress. The depression here is already too much, for God's sake. And also, a lot of parents are actually responsible for the problems their daughters are facing here, in the sense that they are very skeptical about where they want their daughters to get married from. Like, they're still choosy about a certain tribe the daughters must get married from, a certain state, a certain preference, a certain religion, and all that. And for this, maybe a woman could just say, okay, she has seen a man she likes, and probably this man is not from maybe Nigeria. And she's like, oh no, I actually love this man, but just because he's not from Nigeria, my family would not take to him. So I want someone from Nigeria. So already you are now narrowing your preference more and more. You are making it a bit more difficult to actually see a life partner. Because I understand where actually some of them take this idea to. Some people, not everybody wants to die over here in the Western world. Some people want to go back home someday. So they want someone they can actually retire with back home. When they actually get old and they want to relocate back home, they want somebody they can move along with back to Africa. So they don't want somebody like, you can just imagine if you're, for instance, from Nigeria now, and let's say you now find a man that is from, let's say, maybe Sierra Leone or Cameroon. When it comes to relocating back home later, where do you guys decide to move to? Which of the countries? So this is one of the reasons also why a lot of girls are actually stuck in this limbo. Again, we have the issue of lazy men. Now, it will surprise you to know that there are some men who are lazy, like they're just lazy in nature. While some are actually not lazy, but when they see themselves with women who are hardworking, when they see themselves with women who are productive a little bit, they decide to leech there. They decide to stay there and see if the woman can help them, if the woman can support their dream, if the woman can build them. Now, there is nothing wrong in supporting your man. There is nothing wrong in growing with your man. It's even good when you grow together. For men that will appreciate you, they will appreciate you in future. There's nothing wrong with that. But there is everything wrong when a man is fully capable to work. When the man's hands and legs are complete and he has the mental capacity to go out there and get a job, and he refuses to do that, but decides to sit at home, and the woman is overworking herself, and at the end of the day, the man is expecting the woman to bring the money. The kind of things the women do to men that makes men too very, very angry. When a man feels the woman does not bring anything to the table, all she knows is bring money, I want to do this, bring money, I want to do that. When the table turns around too, the women too do not like it. They don't like when a man is always depending on them. When the person is lazy, sometimes you get tired. You just like, please, I can't be carrying this stress alone. I can't be going through all this alone. I am not going to break down for anybody. So if he's not going to assist me financially, if he's not going to assist me in some ways, there's no point being in this relationship, there's no point being in this marriage. And they take a walk. So I even heard of a story of a woman that she stayed in the UK for a very long time. And after a while, she decided that she wanted to go back home to get married because she met someone that she was chatting with all along on Instagram, on phone, and they decided to, you know, take it a step further. So she had already prepared her mind that at a certain time she's going to go to Nigeria and they meet the man and they take things from there. But one phone call spoiled the whole thing. She said she was on the phone one day and this man asked her a question, and the man said, do you stay in a council house or do you have your own house? And the woman was like, sorry? The man said, I'm saying, do you stay in a council house or you have your own house? And the woman was like, why are you asking? The man said, no, I just want to know. I'm just asking. The woman was like, no. Why are you asking? The man was like, I just want to know. Then the woman was like, how do you know what a council house is? This is a man that has not traveled out before. This is a man that does not even have an international passport, a Nigerian international passport. He has not left the country before, but he is right there and he knows what a council house is. He knows that there's a difference between a council house and your own, private personal house. He knows. And the woman was like, wow, if I bring this one over to the UK, he's going to sell me. He's going to sell me. Oh, he knows over there what a council house is. And she, because she was still probing the man, no, you tell me. If you tell me why you are asking me, then I will tell you. And the man said that he likes, he would prefer if she has her own house. And she said, I have my own house. She lied. She said, I have my own house. The man said, is it in your name? And she was like, wow. So, you see some of the red lights women receive when it comes to relationship. These are some of the things that just makes them to feel like, wow, let me just, I'm not ready for stress. Let me just tell my own, let me just manage it. You know, it's not like some of these women don't want to actually get married. It's not like they don't want to be with a man. And it's also not like they abhor or they hate marriage or relationships. But it's because of they can't actually stand some of the things our women back home stand, which is just the obvious facts. They can't tolerate some of the things our mothers or our women back home and all that used to tolerate. Women used to tolerate like back then. They can't go through that stress. Like some people just tell you that, man, life is just too short for me to stress and work myself up like that, you know. So they just prefer to just stay on their own. But when you see such women, the first thing that comes to your mind is, oh, she's a single mother. She cannot stay with a man. She's not respectful. She's not submissive. She's not loyal. She's not this one. She's not that one. But you don't know exactly where they're coming from. You don't know their reason for deciding to be on their own. So I think that is one of the reasons, or rather, that's one of the reasons why we have a lot of single mother abound. Because I've come to understand, to be honest with you, I've come to understand that one of the deciding factors of relationship abroad here is documents, paper. It will surprise you to know that a lot of people actually want to get married because of what they stand to gain, especially when you now meet someone who has been around for decades abroad. The only thing that is on the person's mind is how to just get that document. So at that point, the utmost importance in their life, the only thing that they can actually say, yeah, this is what I have achieved, is that document. And so they are ready to slaughter anybody. They are ready to get hooked to anybody. They are ready to take any conditions, no matter what it is, just to get that paper from you. And then in most cases, when they get it, they leave you. So that's one of the fears a lot of women are actually going through, that made them decide to stay on their own. So that's the problem we are actually having with marital issues. That's why I actually believe that if you are relocating to the UK and you have someone back home, you have a serious relationship, I think it's always good if it's possible, honestly, if it's possible, you relocate with your second half. If it's possible, you come in together as a family. so you can maintain that your family unit. Because just saying I'm going to UK to look for a husband, or I'm going to look for a wife, it's not so possible. It's doable. You could be lucky, but it's not so possible because of what people have actually gone through in the past. So people are trying to be careful. People are trying not to fall prey. People are trying not to fall victims of love scam. So that's why I said, does love exist in UK? It does, but there's a big but to that. So thank you very much for watching, and I do hope to see you next time. Bye.